guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, high school, and recent graduate. I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. Today I'm really excited to be sharing the new A Year in the Bible study from the Daily Grace Co. They were generous and sent this to me. It is available now. I think that it is available at a pretty good discount right now. At least I think so as I'm recording this. I do have a 10% off discount code. I will put that on the screen as well as leave it in the description box if you are interested. I love all of their studies. I did purchase the chronological study a couple of years ago, Eden to Eternity, which I think is still available. The way that their studies used to be printed, they're on this magazine paper, and so it was a little bit of a barrier for me to go through and journal or answer the questions because I had to have another notebook. This paper is way too slippery to actually write on with any of the pens that I own, but I really do love the Daily Grace Co. studies, and maybe last year they started to redesign them so they're on just normal paper. It's good quality paper that you would find in a planner, and so I'm really excited to go through this with you. It does come in 4 volumes. You can also get it hardbound. This is the coil bound option, which is my preference, but they do have a hardbound version as well. There are 4 volumes. I think you might be able to just buy each of the volumes separately, but if you buy them as a package, it's a discount. So they have these beautiful covers. They're like a plasticky cover, so if you spilled something on this, you could wipe it right off. So I'm going to go through the first volume. I will kind of show you the covers though, so that you can see them. They're very pretty. So you have, I'm assuming that they're separated out by quarter. So this is the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That would be my assumption. I am unsure though, because this one feels a little bit thicker. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just in my head. So let's go through volume 1 together. So it is on a metal coil. This is pretty sturdy. I think this is metal. I don't think it's plastic. It doesn't feel like plastic, but it's very sturdy. It does have some gold foil accents and beautiful floral cover. I'm not sure what this is, probably just to protect the pages. You open it up, it does have the contributors, A Year in the Bible, this study belongs to, and it does tell you volume 1 is Genesis through 2 Samuel. So this is not a chronological study like the Eden to Eternity or like the Bible recap. This is going through the entire Bible from Genesis right through Revelation. At least that is my understanding. There is a quote page here, and then you move into your reading plan. And so there's introductory content, the attributes of God, timeline of scripture, meta-narrative of scripture, series introduction, how to use this resource, introduction to volume 1, and reading checklist volume 1. So the first 4 things are in all of their studies. Right now we're going through a study of James. The kids and I are during our Bible time as we start our days, and I'm really enjoying using that. But all of the Bible studies that they have start out with these same sections. So we move into the attributes of God, the timeline of scripture, meta-narrative of scripture, the series introduction. There is a QR code to check out season 5 of A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. It says, for encouragement as you complete this study, available wherever you listen to podcasts. So I'm unsure what that is, but another resource, how to use this resource, and then the introduction to this particular volume. I really like that it has a checklist. If you know anything about me, you know that I love lists, and so this is really helpful, and it just tells you each day what you're supposed to read. And so I also like that it says day 1, day 2, day 3. If you fall behind, it's not a dated study, so you can start this at any time and say you read through day 3, but then you skip the next couple of days. You can just come in and start with the next day. You don't have to skip a couple of days. So it might take you longer than a year to get through the Bible. I think it's a big commitment to decide that you're going to read through the Bible in a year. And if you are keeping up with it daily, it's relatively easy to read the 3 to 5 chapters, I would say, each day, but if you fall behind a couple of days, it becomes a lot more challenging to catch up. And so if you miss a couple of days, don't worry about it. I would just continue picking it up, and you may just end up going a little bit longer than a year, and that's totally okay. So then it has kind of an introduction to Genesis, and then reflect and respond, scripture memory. And then you are moving right into the study. So you are reading Genesis chapter 1 through 3. It tells you the theme. There's some background content and helpful information about Genesis chapters 1 through 3. And then there's some response questions here that you can journal about. And like I said, this paper is much nicer than the magazine paper to actually write in. But if you wanted to keep this study or reuse it at a later time, and you wanted the opportunity to answer the questions differently in the future, you can always just use a little notebook and have that be partnered with this study so that you can either pass this along to somebody else, reuse it, have somebody else in your family also using it without seeing your answers. And that's how it's going to go. So each day you'll have the chapters that you're going to read, the theme, the extra information, as well as response questions. And then let's see, if you get to the end of the week, no, it's still just going to continue going through. I wasn't sure if at the end of each week there would be extra information to kind of go through. It looks like maybe after day 10, you get another reflect and respond. So maybe every 10 days, we'll see. A bonus family tree, which is actually really interesting to look at, I think. So maybe there are things spread out throughout this volume that go beyond just the reading plan and the response questions. Then you're moving into Exodus. Again, there's an overview of the book of Exodus, and then it goes right back into kind of the themed days content. Another reflect and respond after day 20. So it does look like every 10 days there is a new reflect and respond, but potentially at other points in the book there are other questions or helpful information to kind of ponder. You move into Leviticus. Another reflect and respond, scripture memory, another bonus. And actually, if you look in the contents, it does tell you when there is a reflect and respond, and they are every 10 days. But then there are bonus sections also throughout the Bible study, so that is helpful. Obviously, it's most likely going to depend on where you're reading, what that bonus information is, and where it falls. So this is how the study is going to go. So the colors up at the top designate which book of the Bible you're in, so it does just kind of give you a guide as to when you're moving into a new book of the Bible. So I really like that. And then once you get to the end, let's see, this ends on day 95, and then there is a volume 1 conclusion, bonus tips for verse mapping, and then some examples of verse mapping, what is the gospel, scriptures to reference, and then the bibliography in the back, and then you would move into volume 2. So this first volume has 95 days. And then you're moving into volume 2, which is 1 Kings through Psalms, and it's going to be the same layout, just with a little bit different colors, I guess, maybe, or starting colors. Again, you're going to have your contents, you're going to have the attributes of God, timeline of scripture, meta-narrative, your intro to volume 2, and then your reading checklist. And so this is going to say day 96 through 184. And one thing is you can purchase just one volume if you want. They also come in a digital version. So they come in spiral or hardcover, but they also come in a digital version, which I think is really great. They are 50% off right now, which is amazing, and hopefully that will continue once I get this video put up. It's just for a limited amount of time because they have just launched this, but it's going to follow the same outline as the previous one. So each day you have the scripture that you're to read, the theme, extra information, and response questions. And so that's how each book is going to go, and I really like that. There's a lot of bonus material in these volumes as well, which I think will be kind of fun to go through, and just some extra helpful information. and the reflect and respond is also very nice. So I'm really excited about this. Now, maybe a month or so ago, I did go through the church calendar liturgical year study that I also got from the Daily Grace Co. And I've been considering using this next year, but I think this is more of a weekly study, whereas this is a daily study. This obviously is not as in-depth. There is a liturgical year journal that you can use with all of this information. So I think that this could be a lot of fun, or maybe I would want to do this with the kids and have this be my personal reading for next year. I am unsure, but I am loving that this is spiral bound. I also love that the paper has changed. I know it's been probably over a year since they changed the paper, but the magazine paper, while it was really nice to have and it was a little bit thinner for a volume, I much prefer to have something that I can highlight and write in without smearing or smudging. So I'm really excited about this. Again, I have not made my final plans for Bible study for next year. I will probably share something about that during Vlogmas, but I wanted to share this new study. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Again, I will leave everything linked in the description box for you, as well as a link to my walkthrough of the liturgical year study, as well as some Advent resources that are available right now. If you're looking for more help and encouragement around home and homeschooling goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. That link is also always in the description box. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.